Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. Welcome to this webinar dedicated to the fundamentals of charging station. So some tips before we start the webinar itself. So your microphone is on mute. I can't hear you, but my colleague Eba is here for you, and the chat is fully open. At the end of this session, we will have a dedicated time slot for the question and answer possibilities. Okay. So now let's start with myself. So my name is Bertrand. I'm working by Ager since 10 years now in the field of charging station, energy management, and especially charging station. And this webinar will be dedicated to the fundamentals of charging station. We will have some info concerning the electrical vehicles, some info concerning the charging duration, the mode of charging, and the type of socket. So now let's start with the electrical vehicle. What is an electrical vehicle? You see here one of the best sellers in France, the Renault Zoe. Okay, it looks like a standard conventional thermal vehicle, but inside the powertrain is completely different. There is several things to be taken into account. The first all is the battery itself. So the battery is a fuel tank, okay, for a conventional thermal vehicle, and will give the autonomy of the vehicle depending on the way you will drive this electrical vehicle. The second thing is the motor. You can see here, this is a pure electric motor without gearbox, okay? So all the transmission is done via the electricity. And the third thing, very important also to know, is the onboard charger. The onboard charger will give to the electrical vehicle the possibility to...
Good morning, everybody. I think Bertrand having a trouble with his camera or his network in general. So I think he's connecting right after. Sorry for this.
And you can hear me?
Hello, Bertrand?
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We can hear you very well.
Do you see the screen or not? It's yes. So we... Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue. I'll let the chat open if something is wrong. Okay, so you can see here one of the best sellers in France, the Renault Zoe. Looks like a standard vehicle, but inside the powertrain is very different. Three things to have in mind in order to understand what is an electrical vehicle. The first one is the battery. The battery in kilowatt hour represents the capacity of energy inside the vehicle. It's like the fuel tank on a conventional vehicle. The second part is the motor. The motor itself is an electrical motor.
Bertrand, if you can...
Yes. I can hear you, Eba. Is it okay for you? There we go. Okay, I will shut down the video. Maybe it will be better.
Yes, now it's okay. Please
start. Better for you now? So I close the video because maybe the bandwidth is not good enough for this. Okay. So motor, and at the end the charger. The charger is the connection point between the electrical vehicle and the grid. Okay, and this charger will charge the battery itself. Okay. Battery today, electrical vehicle are used lithium-ion battery for three main characteristics. The first time is that you can charge the battery, and after that let the battery without use it. Okay, and the battery will not discharge. Okay, so it's possible to have a long time period without to use the electrical vehicle. The second thing is that there is no memory effect. That means you can charge whatever the status of the battery, 50%, 80%, 20%, you can start to charge, and you can stop where you want. There is no memory effect. That means if you have a 40 kilowatt hours battery, it will be normally always 40 kilowatt hours. Okay, independent on the way you have charged your battery. And the third thing is that lithium-ion battery is today the best battery in terms of capacity regarding the weight. Okay, that means at the end the battery will be minimized. But good to know also is that the onboard charger will decide to charge and how to charge the battery. Okay, so there is always a ramp-up phase, maybe in the beginning of the charging station. Okay, and then after a ramp-down phase at the end of the charging station, in order to not start directly with a full power and not stop also with from a full power. Okay, in order to have a good way of use of the battery during the charging station. Here some examples of recent electrical vehicles. So you have first the Audi e-tron, okay, with a 95 kilowatt hours battery. The new Peugeot e-208, more for the city, with a 50 kilowatt hours battery. Nissan Leaf, from 40 kilowatt hours up to 60 kilowatt hours, and also the well-known Tesla Model 3 from 50 kilowatt hours up to 75 kilowatt hours. Okay. This is for the capacity. With the capacity, you will be able to calculate the charging time. How it works. There is a theoretical calculation which is charging time equal capacity divided by power. Okay, this is not the full capacity. This is the capacity you will charge, capacity you need in order to fill your battery completely, divided by the power, and the power is not the power of the charger. The power is the power decided by the onboard charger, because the onboard charger will always decide at which power and when he will charge. So this theoretical calculation depends on the vehicle itself, but there is also some other constraints to be taken into account, especially the cable between the vehicle and the charger, and the charger itself, because the charger is connected to the grid and the charger knows the constraint of the grid. On internet, when you will buy an electrical vehicle, you will find some simulator in order to check how your future electrical vehicle will charge if you use, for example, a domestic socket, or I would say a standard wall box at home, or maybe a more faster charger on the highway, for example. Okay, so you can play with this on internet. It's easy to find. This is example for Peugeot. There is the same for Renault. There is the same for BMW and Audi. Example, if I try to use this little web page, okay, for the Peugeot, with my cable, with charger from Hager, 7 kilowatt, one phase, from 0 to 80% of the capacity, this will take approximately 6 hours. Okay. But internet is not always there, so you have to understand how it works by yourself. So as you remember, there is three things to be taken into account: the onboard charger of the electrical vehicle, the cable itself, because there is several types of cables. Some cables are one phase 16 amps or three phase 32 amps. So depending on the type of the cable, the charge will be faster or slower. Okay, and also the charger itself, domestic socket, wall box, public station. But at the end, remember, this is always the onboard charger which decides the way to charge. That means if you have, for example, a 22 kilowatt wall box, but only a 7 kilowatt onboard charger, at the end, the maximal power for charging will be 7 kilowatts. On the opposite, if you have a 7 kilowatt wall box and a 22 kilowatt onboard charger, the maximal authorized power for charging will be also 7 kilowatts. This is very important because sometimes the customer does not understand why they have a 22 kilowatt wall box, and at the end the power they could read on the display is only 7 kilowatts. So you have to understand this in order to explain to your customer how it works in regard of the charger and the onboard charger. So you have understand the electrical vehicle always decides the charge, and this in regards of the cable, the wall box, and the grid installation. After that, if you think about the way you use your electrical vehicle, this will give to you one idea of the autonomy of your battery. Depending on the weather, could be summer or winter, so maybe you have the heating system or the cooling system working, okay, with maybe also the lighting system working. Depending on the way you are driving, maybe fast and furious, maybe quiet, and also the speed. Maybe you are on the highway, maybe you are in the city. So all these parameters will give you at the end the kilowatt hours you will discharge your battery when you drive. And this will at the end give you the autonomy of your driving style, I would say. This is the first point to know. Second point is that how many kilometers you will travel. If you think of the way you are using your electrical vehicle or your vehicle, you are driving from home up to the office and back. maybe 3 or 4 times a year you will travel for holidays, okay? But in general, you will drive only from the home to the office and back. There is a lot of studies about that, and we can consider that normally in one day you will drive 40 kilometers, so 20 kilometers from home to the office and 20 kilometers back, so 40 kilometers. If you try to apply the theoretical calculation with this criteria, okay, you have to think, okay, you drive 40 kilometers, your electrical vehicle consumes approximately 15 kilometers per 100 kilometers. That means at the end of the day, you used 6 kilowatt hours. If you want to charge with a domestic socket, 1.8 kilowatts, you have this calculation, and at the end of the day, you will spend 3.5 hours in order to charge your electrical vehicle. On the same way, 40 kilometers, 6 kilowatt hours, but with one-phase charger, 7 kilowatts. That means at the end of the day, approximately 1 hour to charge. It's okay. But if you think maybe sometimes you will drive longer because you have to go to the cinema, you have to go to the retail, maybe you will drive 100 kilometers back, and you have to do the same calculation with 20 kilometers. You will use 30 kilowatt hours in one day. If you have only a domestic socket, 1.8 kilowatt, you will spend 17 hours in order to fill your battery. So maybe the day after, your battery, your electrical car will not be ready to start to go to the office again. So the domestic socket is not the appropriate way in order to charge the vehicle when you are driving this type of distance. If you have a wall box, 7 kilowatt, one phase, okay, this will be 4.5 hours. Okay, it's more convenient. You could charge during the night, and the morning, the day after, it will be possible to drive up to the office. And if you have the chance to have a three-phase wall box, 22 kilowatt, with the grid able to provide also to you the 22 kilowatt, the electrical vehicle will charge in 1.5 hours. So this is super for you. You can make your day, charge at home, and go for the evening with your electrical vehicle completely full. No problem. So what is essential to know, to understand, to remember is that how is the autonomy of the vehicle done depending on the way the customer will use the electrical vehicle, and how to calculate the relative charging time. So you have to know when you will install, when you will promote a charging station, what is the electrical vehicle of the customer, how he will drive, and especially what is the distance he will drive every day, and what is the grid constraints in order to give to him the best solution in order to charge the electrical vehicle. Important point also to know is the impact of the electrical vehicle in the installation. So some figures to have in mind. Okay, your home or one home consume approximately 5,000 kilowatt hours per year, if you exclude the heating system and the cooling system. The electrical hot boiler will consume also 1,000 kilowatt hours a year. And if you drive with your electrical vehicle 15,000 kilometers a year with 15 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, the electrical vehicle itself will consume more than 2,000 kilowatt hours a year. That means more than the electrical boiler. So at the end, when the customer buys an electrical vehicle, the electrical vehicle becomes the most important load at home. So this is very important to understand and to explain that also to the customer. And the second point is that if you remember this table, okay, you see here the power off during the charging session. That means this is high power, 7 kilowatt up to 22 kilowatt. So very important to check with the customer what is the contract with the energy provider. Are you sure that the power will be always there? Are you sure that the energy will be always there? So you have to check this and maybe also to adapt the energy contract with the energy provider. Now, some explanation in order to understand what are the different charging modes. The first mode is the mode 2, what we call the mode 2. The mode 2 is a way to charge an electrical vehicle with a specific cable and a domestic socket. But this cable, in this cable, you can see here there is a little electronic device, and this device will give the info to the electrical vehicle that the system is connected to a domestic socket. And then the onboard charger will limit the power during the charging station to 1.8 if this is a standard socket, or maybe to 3.2 kilowatt if this is a reinforced socket with a dedicated for charging station. This socket, as I know, is only available in France. I don't know if there is some type of socket in other countries, especially in Iliad, but it exists. Okay. This is for the mode 2. The second mode is the mode 3. The mode 3 is a common mode in order to charge an electrical vehicle using a wall box or a charging station. Okay, so there is your electrical vehicle with an onboard charger inside. There is a charging station, and between the charging station and the electrical vehicle, the cable. Cable could be 1 phase, 3 phase, 16 amps, 32 amps. Okay, the charging station is connected to the grid, so the charging station knows how the grid works, and this is set into these parameters. Okay, and then when you will connect the electrical vehicle and the charging station with this cable, both will start to communicate. The charging station knows how it is connected to the grid. The charging station recognizes what is the type of cable and will send a set point to the onboard charger. This set point is the maximal available power for the electrical vehicle. And the electrical vehicle, the onboard charger of the electrical vehicle will not overpass this limit. In case of yes, the charger will stop the charging station. Remember that the electrical vehicle always decides, but the limit is given by the charging station itself. Okay. Good to know also, it's not because you connect the electrical vehicle and the charging station with a cable that the charge will start automatically. Maybe sometimes you have driven very fast and your battery is very hot. Okay, you plug the electrical vehicle, but the onboard charger will decide to make a pause because the battery are too hot, and he will wait for the battery are colder in order to start the charge. So sometimes it's possible that, okay, you connect both, but nothing happens. And the charge will start 1 hour, 2 hours after, just after. Okay. One other mode is the mode 4. Mode 4 is the mode for direct current charging. Okay, so you will find this type of charger on the highway. Okay, this is high power charging station from 50 kilowatt up to 100 and today 350 kilowatt. So it gives the possibility to the electrical vehicle to charge on a very fast way. But be careful, it also depends on the size of your onboard charger. Sometimes the car manufacturer does not give automatically the possibility to charge with DC current. This is an option. So it's possible that the car has only an AC onboard charger and not a DC one. Then, in order to summarize some wordings about that, okay, so we speak about slow and standard charge when you are using a single phase up to 3.7 kilowatt. Okay, so the time in order to charge a battery of 50 kilowatt hours will be approximately 10 hours for 3.7 kilowatt. Semi-fast charge, if you use 7 kilowatt wall box, the charging time will be approximately 7 hours. Okay, with a three-phase 11 kilowatt, so 16 amps, 4 hours. Fast charge starts at 22 kilowatt with a three-phase charging station, 32 amps. And this it will be possible to charge your 50 kilowatt hours battery in 2 hours only. And rapid charge is for DC charger, and this type of charger is not available on the Ager offer. So this is all for the mode of charge. And the next point to know also is what are the different type of sockets on the vehicle side. Okay. So type 1 socket. Type 1 socket is used on the Asian by the Asian car manufacturer, and it's also possible to find this type of socket on the electrical vehicle, but on the old range of European car manufacturer. Okay, this is always single phase up to 7 kilowatts. Okay, but it works on the same way. When you connect the electrical vehicle to the wall box, maybe you see here there is some pins dedicated for the communication, and then the electrical vehicle and the wall box are able to communicate over this cable. But the main point is that the maximal power will be always 7 kilo. Second type of socket, this is a type 2. Type 2 socket or type 2S, S like shutter, because there is some socket with some shutter in some child protection, is a Mod 3 socket. So you will find this socket on the charging station and also on the electrical vehicle. The shape is not approximately the same because there is a Poka-yoke on the electrical side and on the charging station side. Okay. This type of socket is available now in all European car manufacturers. Okay. And this is type 2 socket for Mod 3 charging. Okay. Type 2 Mod 3. What is important to know also is by Ager, all the charging stations have a type 2 socket on the charging station side. Maybe on the electrical vehicle side, you will find a type 2 or a type 1. But don't worry for this, because the cable between the charger and the electrical vehicle will be the job. Cable type 2, type 1 exists, and cable type 2, type 2 exists also. So if you have an electrical vehicle with type 1 socket and a charging station with type 2 socket, you will use a type 2, type 1 cable, and it will work. These two cables, type 1 and type 2, or type of socket, these two sockets, type 1 and type 2, are dedicated for AC charging, okay, 1 and 3 phase. It exists also two types of socket for the DC charging. The first one is a combo type, okay. It looks like a type 2 socket, okay, that is the same shape, but you will find on the bottom two big pins for the DC current. Okay. You will find this type of plugs on the fast DC charger available around the highway, for example. All the electrical vehicle, it is not automatic to find this type of socket in the electrical vehicle. Sometimes it's an option. As I explained, okay, the onboard charger is AC most of the time. If you want the DC option, you have to pay for this. It's not automatic. And the second type of DC socket is the CHAdeMO socket. It is more complicated. I will say an old one, okay? And this type of plug will give you the possibility to charge DC in DC up to 50 kilowatts. Normally on the highway, you will find CHAdeMO, combo, and also type 2 plugs on the charger. Now, in terms of conclusion for this webinar, there is some things to have in mind. Okay, you have to remember that at the end, during a charging session, this is always the onboard charger which will decide what is the relevant power in order to charge the battery in a secure way. In order also to secure the lifetime of the battery. Okay, the onboard charger will always decide what is the power. When you want to promote and install a wall box, you have to take into account what is the type of electrical vehicle, because it's not necessary to install a 3-phase 22 kilowatt charger if at the end the onboard charger is always a 7 kilowatt charger, because the maximal power will be given by the onboard charger, which is 7. So you have to adapt. You have to find the best wall box for the electrical vehicle of your customer. To take into account also the cable. Okay, please be sure to choose a good cable. Sometimes you will find cable cheaper, 1-phase 16 amps, but this is only 16 amps. And in case of your charger is able, your electrical vehicle is able to charge 3-phase and the wall box 2, if you use a 1-phase cable, sure it will work, but only in 1 phase. So at the end, this is not the appropriate cable, and the customer will not be happy because the charge duration will be increased due to the fact of that the cable is not the good one. Also good to know, when you install the wall box, please be sure that the contract with the energy provider is good. You have to check the available power, because if you install a 22 kilowatt wall box with a 22 kilowatt onboard charger on the vehicle, and if at the end your contract is limited to 7 kilowatt, your main distribution board will switch off, and you will have some blackout on your house. So take this into account. Check first what is the current contract with the energy provider, and what is possible to do if you want to increase the values of this contract in terms of power and also in terms of energy. Remember that the electrical vehicle will be the most important load at home. So you have to take care about it. Okay, this is good for me for this first part of the webinar. Now we can start with the questions. My colleague Eba will share to me the question. I will try to answer to it. Yes, clear. Does charging time depends upon ambient temperature? Yes, this is right. Clearly, the charging time depends also on the ambient temperature. If you This is always the case. For example, I take a bad example. You park, you drive very fast. So your battery is hot, and also your electrical vehicle is hot. Okay, you park your electrical vehicle under the sun. And outside, the temperature is maybe 50 degrees in Dubai, for example. That means that the battery will stay hot. And the onboard charger will limit the power in order to not overpass the temperature limit of the battery. Because at the end, if the power is too high, the battery will become too hot, and they will have some problems at the end, some fire. So charging time, clearly, yes, also depends on the ambient temperature. What about the efficiency of charging? Does it also change with multiple charge cycles? No, normally no. But you have to understand that the battery, this is a chemical device. So the battery, normally, the electric car manufacturer will give you a warranty for the battery. This is not the efficiency of the charging, which will decrease. This is more the capacity of the battery itself, which will decrease during the time. You will buy a 50 kilowatt hours battery, okay? During maybe 1, 2, 3 years, it will stay at 50 kilowatt hours. But after maybe 5 years, it will decrease maybe to 45 kilowatt hours. Okay, some figure to have in mind. So not the charging duration or the way to charge will stay the same. Okay, but at the end, the capacity of the battery will decrease over the time. So the customer will have less autonomy. Let's say we are in here and this is a good question, and today all the grid operators are working around this topic. Okay, so today there is a different way to use this. Okay, for example, in Germany, you are not able to install a three-phase 22 kilowatt charger without to have the authorization of the grid provider. And then the grid provider knows exactly, okay, in this neighborhood, there is maybe 1 or 2, 3, 5 charging stations with this type of power. And they could manage the grid in this way. But I would say this is a very simple way to manage. In the future, normally all the chargers will be connected to the grid provider, and the grid provider will try to manage also directly the maximal power to be given to the electrical vehicle. So the work today is on the side of the grid operator, and in 2030, okay, some features will be added on the electrical vehicle and also on the wall boxes in order to manage the grid. Next question. All charging stations have power, and during daytimes, can we control demand power according to the contracted power? This is possible to manage some some wall boxes. During this webinar, I do not explain how it works with the grid operator, but in some charging stations, there is a connection line in order to be connected to a third party. So the charger itself is able to communicate with a third party, okay, when the third party exists. And this third party, maybe the grid operator, will be able to send to the charging station some set point or some maximal power to not overpass. How do I know the efficiency of my battery? Clearly, I cannot answer to this question. It's more a question for the car manufacturer. I guess maybe if the electrical vehicle has its own application on iPhone or Android smartphone, maybe there is something to give to you the capacity of the battery. But it's not in the side of the charger. It's more on the side of the electrical vehicle. Efficiency of the charging varies after many charge cycles. It's also a question to the car manufacturers, and it's like the decrease of the capacity of the battery during the time. It's the same thing. So you have to check with the car manufacturer, maybe on the technical characteristic of the electrical vehicle, what is the warranty for the capacity of the battery. And this warranty is maybe explained in year or maybe in cycles. For commercial usage, how can be adapted the subscription application for the users? For commercial usage, clearly, I don't catch the point. Okay, maybe we can keep the question and discuss with you just after. What is for you DOE, COC, ERP? I don't know these terms. Maybe you can explain. Can charging station adapt any monitoring software for reporting annual consumption? On the Ager charger, there is no monitoring system on the basic one, okay? But if you use charging station with protocol in order to communicate to a third party, it will be on the end of the third party to do this annual reporting of the consumption. But it's also possible when you install a charging station to place a simple metering device to check what is the annual consumption of this charging station. The CCS connector is a DC connector for the electrical vehicle, yes. In our commercial charging station, there is 2 charging points. So right side, left side. So the charging station is able to charge at the same time 2 electrical vehicles, up to 22 kilowatts for each vehicle. So 44 kilowatt on the same time to be split on 2 vehicles. The charger itself recognizes if there is some problems during the charging station or before and after the charging session. And in case of problem, it's possible to shut down the charger because there is some output dedicated for this. Not today. Today, the wall boxes we have on our catalog are standard wall boxes in order only to charge the vehicle. So this is grid to vehicle, but the opposite vehicle to grid is not possible today. It will be possible in few years. We need also for this that the electrical vehicle are able to do vehicle to grid. Energy efficiency standard followed by the charger. This is the same as before. I cannot understand this question because the charger, at the end, the charger is inside the charger. There is a contactor, and this is more the energy efficiency is more a question for the electrical vehicle itself. Think that the charger is a contactor, physical contactor, with which will provide the power to the electrical vehicle, but at the end, the load is the electrical vehicle itself. So the energy efficiency concept is more for the electrical vehicle, it's not for the charger itself. Can you explain about the factors concerning for integrating solar power with Ager charging station? So on the Ager charging station, you may find some input on the controller board, and using this input, it's possible to integrate, I would say, production during the charging session. But be careful with that, okay? Okay, solar is good to charge an electrical vehicle, but you have to have a good production if you want to charge your electrical vehicle. Remember the power, it's from 7 kilowatt up to 22 kilowatt. So you need, during maybe 1, 2, 3 hours, 7 kilowatt on your roof if you want to charge completely your charging station. So it's good to think to that. It's possible, but there is some constraint to have in mind. Okay. Okay, so if there is no more question, thank you very much for participating to this webinar. And if it's possible for you to take some minutes in order to improve the webinar experience, you will have some questions from Eva.
We have one more question. Bertrand,
Yes.
thank you so much for the session. We just have one more question, if we can answer it fast, as we have 4 minutes. So, questions.
IP68, not IP68. The charger today are IP54 and 55, not 68. So it's not possible to wash with the car share.
Okay. So
what kind of charger? Here you have a 6 kilowatt contract with your energy contractor. So I guess this is a one-phase contract. So it's possible to install a 7 kilowatt charger from Hager, and it will be possible during the installation phase to limit the power for the electrical vehicle. So there is some parameters to set. It should be possible for you to limit the power to 4 kilowatts, for example, or to 5 kilowatts. But be sure also to have some power for the house at the end. Because when the car will charge at 5 kilowatts, that means there is 1 kilowatt for the rest of the house. So the customer has to also to understand that and maybe to adapt the way to charge.
okay, thank you so much, Bertrand, for this interesting webinar.
Thank you to all.
And to improve your webinar experience, and feel free to check our next webinar topics at Federal. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.